Everyone for the Australian Raelian Show, the first one, a world first. In Australia, we are going to start every month or every second month a show about important issues to inform everybody about what the Raelian point of view is concerning these issues, to get to learn a little bit more about our activities in Australia. In the Raelian movement, we'll tell you more about what is the Raelian movement as we go. You'll discover why it is so wonderful and so full of hopes for humanity. I am quite excited to share quite a fantastic message. Those who have never heard about the Raelian movement, you just have to go to the website rael.org, rael.org, to discover what it is about. It is truly about informing the world that we are not alone, that we have been contacted by extraterrestrials, very advanced extraterrestrials, 25,000 years more advanced scientifically than us, and they have given us a message full of hopes for us. About 44 years ago, actually, it's a message that is being updated because the recipient of the message, the messenger of the Elohim, these extraterrestrials are called the Elohim, is the messenger. Israel is still alive. He lives in Okinawa at the moment. We'll see him during this show. We'll get to know more about him as we go. He is a wonderful man, very wonderful, full of courage and wisdom, and we should listen today to what he has to say. He is carrying a message for humanity that is very important right now. It can multiply our chances to survive. We are really on the edge of self-destruction. Everybody agrees with that. And if we do the right thing, if we today take the right decisions to change what we need to change at the individual level, at the level of community, the society, the humanity, we can actually transform the planet into a paradise. So quickly I'll run through the list of things we are going to speak about during the show. If you want to, my name, I am Alcy Infinity, ALCY Infinity, and I will host this first show with fun and kindness. Kindness is the key of this show. You will get to hear a little bit more about why I think kindness actually can save humanity right now. Very important to be as kind as possible. During this show, I will speak about what are the details of this UN treaty, the UN treaty that you might have heard about concerning the banning of all nuclear weapons. This is, we know it from this Elohim, this very advanced extraterrestrials. It is very important that right now we do all we can to have this treaty that is just passed at the United Nations, that countries have started to ratify on the 20th of September last month. We need to support all countries to ratify it, and we'll speak about it, why it is important today to sign it and enforce it globally. This is the main subject of this show. It is a key for the survival of humanity. So we made it the subject of the first show. We'll speak about it and why it can make a difference. I will also speak about a campaign that we have started, Raelians worldwide, for peace, called the 1 Minute for Peace Action. Very important. I'll say why during the show and how you can all participate. I will also mention ideas that we can implement, all of us, to create a paradise on earth. Yes, we are on the edge between self-destruction and a paradise on earth. It's up to us to do the right actions every day to push humanity towards a paradise. And how close are we from a paradise? We are actually very close. We'll speak about it shortly. I will start with a video of my brother Jarrell, which will give you an idea of this show. Yes, I do this show live, so those who want to participate can type your name on top of the box on the page where this event is promoted. There is a chat link where you can type your first name, and you will be directed to a room, a virtual room where you can chat, and I will have the chat room open during the show to answer questions. There will be a period of questions and answers at the end of the show, so you can I can see a few people in the room at the moment. If you have a question, we will answer at the end of the show. Thank you. So the first video I will show you has been filmed last month. It is from Jarrell. It is my brother, who is also a Raelian in Oceania, very involved. He is responsible of the Raelian movement in Oceania, and he will give you a good idea of why this show, this UN treaty, is important. I launched the video right away, and we will discuss about it a little bit more. Yes, this is the subject of this show. The UN Treaty for the banning of nuclear weapons needs to be well known, and you will understand more and more about it during the show.
Humanity is arriving at a very critical moment. We could well destroy ourselves. It will take a few hours to completely destroy all life on Earth with nuclear weapons. And we are very close to this war, nuclear war. We have at the moment tension between Russia, United States, China, and all the big powers that are collapsing, the old system that is collapsing, that will be replaced by a new one, and the tensions are huge, and to escape and to maintain their control, the empire, if a war starts between the big powers, it could lead to a nuclear war. So we are facing the biggest danger ever in humanity. And nobody is really talking about it, and we don't hear so much in the news, and there is no reaction. There used to be a beautiful peace movement in the past, in the 50s, in the 60s, in the 70s, against war, against nuclear weapons. But right now, nothing really is happening, or very few people are really aware of the danger. It's like we are living in the apathy. The people are completely apathetic to what's happening, to the danger we're facing. Far bigger dangers than global warming or pollution or overpopulation, because nuclear war, it's the extension straight away. It's the end of all life. all the other dangers can be reversible. This one, it's permanent. There is no coming back. So we have a huge responsibility. We are the generation that will allow or not the generations to come. Imagine that. If we are the last generations, this is our responsibility to have handed to end our life, or to enter a paradise. Because if we overcome this danger, if we overcome this obstacle of self-destruction through nuclear weapons, we can make this world, transform this world in a real paradise. Thanks to technology, the technology that is happening, that is creating the abundance, so there will be no need to fight for resources. Everything will be done by robots and machines, and we will free the people from having to work. We are, at the door, at the gate of heaven. We just have to open it. But for that, we need to get rid of nuclear weapons, get rid of this whole system of competition where countries fight against each other, people compete against each other, and enter in a world of cooperation. We need now to build this planetary civilization, unified, create a world government with a world currency, so we have all the money we need for and we share the resources. There is enough for everybody, especially with the new technology. So there is no need to fight. But the whole system, those who are in control, still want to keep the control, and will do whatever they can to start a war to prevent this collapse, because they will profit for the war. Who is profiting from the nuclear weapons? We have to ask the question, who is profiting from the nuclear weapons? Who wants to keep them? If you ask anybody in the street, we all want to get rid of nuclear weapons. So who wants to keep them? The answer is, it is those who profit are the industrial military complex. There is trillions of dollars invested in these weaponries, and this is a problem. We have privatized we have given to private corporation the manufacturing of weapons, and they profit from that, and because the money involved is so huge, they can buy politicians, they can buy media, they can manipulate and control the information, and manipulate the whole population, and they make us apathetic. There is this huge apathy. Facing this greatest danger, there is nothing. There used to be big movement in the 60s, in the 70s against nuclear weapons, but today we are really facing the greatest danger, and there is not a revolution or a revolt to remove those weapons from those psychopaths who are governing this world. So we have the chance to have this treaty that is coming. This is the last chance for humanity. We have this UN has voted to ban nuclear weapons. So it's a treaty that will be ready for signature and ratification in September. And all the countries will be asked to sign it. And we have to do whatever we can to urge our government to sign it and ban those weapons before they use it. These weapons are the last obstacle to reaching a paradise on Earth. If we overcome the nuclear destruction, we will have other problems. We'll face other problems that we can solve because it is reversible thanks to the technology that is coming. But we cannot fix the nuclear destruction. So we have to remove those weapons before it is too late. So we have very short time, maybe a couple of months to do it, and we need to mobilize all the people like we used to do in the 60s and 70s with those hippies, the peace and love. We need the peace and love movement to be back, and really to counter this manipulation. How do we get manipulated? By by being scared. You know, it's easy to control the people when you make them afraid. So they make us afraid of Saddam Hussein. They make us afraid of Gaddafi. They make us afraid of Bashar al-Assad, and now they make us afraid of Putin. So this is terrible because Putin is in charge of a nuclear arsenal, and that can be very very dangerous for humanity. So we need to counter this manipulation and inform the people that we have been misinformed and distracted by other fights. Like at the moment in Australia is marriage inequality. It's completely secondary. Global warming is completely secondary. Everything can be reversed. The population, it's important, but it's secondary compared to the nuclear destruction. So I trust now you do whatever you can, all you can, to help humanity go through peacefully through this period of time by supporting the ban of nuclear weapons, by urging your government to ban nuclear weapons.
Okay, and I hope it is working properly. Yes, I might have some technical problems now and then during this first show. I will learn. So it is happening. This this banning of nuclear weapons is capital for the future of humanity. I will show a quick I will interview shortly a guide of the Australian Raelian movement called Lucifer, Luke Roberts, and I will in fact invite him right away on the show. It will be easier. He just tried to call me right now, so I will call him. It will be much easier. Bear with me a second. That's you might wonder, you might expect my call right now. Yes, I see you have just tried to call me. I was live. So that's okay. I now you are live on the show. I hope the sound is working properly. Can you do a sound check?
I can hear you very well.
Okay, perfect. I can see your voice is being recorded. So I will need to sit on the side of my screen to be visible. Great. So I'm glad we have you on the show, Luc.
Good to be here.
Excellent. So this is a show I just presented that will be focused on peace and the banning of nuclear weapons. This UN treaty that all countries should ratify right now. And I have just presented a video of Jarell saying how important it is to focus on that. There are lots of distraction in the media about various issues which are not as important as the banning of all nuclear weapons for the future of humanity. We are the generation today which has the responsibility to pass this wave, stable, dangerous wave of challenges with the acceleration of progress bringing us so much technology which can destroy us, or if we use it properly, build a peaceful paradise for all of us. So that's the show today. Are you happy to start?
Yes.
Great. So my first question is, I know in Australia we have done a lot. We have tried our best to push our government in Australia to ratify this treaty. Can you tell what we have done and what has been the result in Australia?
We've written to politicians, and they have responded, and we've replied back to them. Basically, they keep talking about the non-proliferation treaty, and of course speak of their commitment to the non-use of nuclear weapons, but it's not a satisfactory response. They aren't getting involved in negotiations. They weren't involved up till July in the negotiations for the Ban Nuclear Weapons Treaty. Australia more or less does whatever America tells them to do, and America wasn't involved in the signing of the treaties either, the negotiation. Just to give a little background there, the United Nations were negotiating a treaty up until the middle of July, or the 7th, I think, and 122 countries were involved in that, or basically 122 countries approved of the treaty, and then from July until September, I think the wording and all sorts of other legal aspects of it were being clarified until the 20th of December, and it's now open to signing by the countries of the world. I think it requires 50 to become international law, but without the nuclear powers signing, those countries that have nuclear weapons, it makes for a very strange situation, very unsatisfactory one. And Japan, which has experienced the most nuclear damage of any country, as far as we know, is also not involved in the negotiations and probably won't sign the treaty. Very disturbing, but that just shows how much they're controlled by the United States and its agenda. So we have been working on other ways of expressing peace throughout the world, such as wearing white. Jarrell, the continental leader of Australia and Oceania, was very instrumental in shaping this idea, conceiving the idea and shaping it. And there's a website, wearwhite.org, for people to connect. It's been of limited success so far, but the action is one that can continue to grow, and this is what we must do with every action in this regard, is to continually be vigilant and continue with the 1 minute for peace each day on the hour. That's the desired point. The minute before the hour, people around the world will be connecting with each other no matter what time of day it is. So long as you're awake and you can do it, there'll be other people throughout the world meditating at that minute, just before the hour change. There was something else there that I was thinking of.
About that, about the meditation for peace, can you expand a little bit more? Why is it important for us to meditate for peace? It's a big priority for Raelians around the world. Why?
Well, we believe that thought is powerful, and our meditation, our action, creates a frequency and energy that connects with everybody and creates an atmosphere around the planet that is very powerful and overlooked and not necessarily acknowledged by other people. In fact, some groups say that it's not effective at all, but we believe it's very powerful and very effective. I know, Elsie, that you're a great supporter of it. You might like to add to that yourself.
Well, I must say that it is I have an alarm every 59 minutes, and there will be one in 2 minutes because yes, it's almost 3. So we have to let's do it together. When it will ring, we can do a meditation for peace. I think the fact that we are doing it at the same time, yes, on the 59th minute of every hour, will help not only to synchronize our thoughts, to make it more powerful together, but also to spread the word about it. You know, when we stop wherever we are for this meditation, at work or when we are with other people, we every time we do such a meditation, we inform more people about it, and eventually I hope there will be a sporting event, big stadium stopping for this meditation on the hour before the start of an event. Eventually, if imagine the whole world meditating for peace, just 1 minute.
Yes.
I think it can make a difference, of course. If we can do it for 1 minute, we can do it for longer, and it can help us to make the switch. That's it. So now, let's do it right now live on the show. That's very simple. That's just focusing on peace and sending love worldwide. Thank you. Wow. So yes, sending peace, stopping. Actually, I think that it can help also to focus better, to calm our thoughts, to relax, and to. I think meditation can help us a lot to be wiser, smarter, and more creative. It is for me the closest thing from the limitless pill in the movie Limitless that you might have seen. Have you seen this movie?
No, I haven't.
It's an interesting movie where people eat this pill and they get clever when they eat it, and it expands their capabilities. They can do amazing things. Well, this is what we can do when we meditate regularly. Meditation expands our brain and can help us be smarter, wiser, kinder, with more love, more compassion. So it is a key for today for saving humanity, the meditation, especially the central meditation taught by Rael. I believe is a key for our survival. But we have to practice. It is like an exercise. It's like any art form. We need to practice to really feel the effects, and we will encourage during the show regularly about meditation. Encourage everyone to meditate more and more. That's a key. Now, for peace, yes, every hour, 1 minute, that will help. Not only everyone to feel more and be more connected, but it will also help the rest of humanity with the effect you were mentioning, the effects of waves on the planet.
Yes, it's a consciousness. As well as that, it's a discipline to do it every hour, the minute before the hour, to focus us and to bring us back to a realization about ourselves. Each day we think of the Elohim, and this is another way of focusing on who we are and what our mission is, by actually giving this practice, sort of dedication. It really, really helps us to be better people in so many different ways. There's many aspects to it, not just 1 minute for peace. It has a whole lot of advantages and connections. To the idea that we may see sports stadiums do this is quite an extraordinary idea. Having just seen here in Australia the singer who had Same Love perform at the National Rugby League Grand Final is an indication for me of how wonders will never cease. I never thought I'd see the day that would happen. Sports in Australia is so homophobic, and there was opposition to this idea, but those who were opposed to it just came across as outmoded dinosaurs. And that was another extraordinary social shift. There's a lot of shifts going on in Australia, especially at the moment around same-sex marriage. It has been causing a great lot of change, and people who may not have supported this idea in the past are. Now, I'm just using that as an example of where the peace movement can go. We can, everything starts somewhere, and it may not initially get a lot of momentum behind it, but then it can snowball. And I've seen that, in Australia, as a gay man, having seen awful political attitudes and religious attitudes towards same-sex people, gay, gay, lesbian, transgender, etc. To reach this point where in my own city here, Brisbane, there were 10,000 people marching 2 weeks ago in support of gay and lesbian rights was an amazing thing to have lived to see. So that's something else to bear in mind with the nuclear powers that seem so unstoppable and so dominant, so wealthy. The amount of money that's spent on these weapons of horror is just disgracefully criminal and obscene. But what did Donald Trump mean the other day when he said it was the calm before the storm? Is that a good thing or a bad thing that he was referring to? What was he referring to? But no matter what he was referring to, we're certainly on a path towards great change here on the planet. And the peace movement is one of the most amazing and strongest movements that we could give our time and energy to. It's certainly something that humanity needs to have a future. We need a strong peace movement. Otherwise, we're going to be drawn further and further down into the depths of chaos and anarchy, and if not worse, totalitarian domination. we've spoken before, Elsie, about kindness and peace. I don't know whether you wanted to go into that.
Yes, absolutely. I will go into that because this is the main subject of this show. I believe that kindness is really the key to save humanity today, because we have been speaking about peace and trying to motivate everyone to be conscious about peace, but we have been actually pushed from the idea of the peace we originally had. We have all different ideas about what peace should be. You know, some people believe that peace forces us to attack others to protect our peace. That it's okay actually to organize wars for peace. So I really feel uncomfortable about this notion of peace. For me, peace has to be respectful of life and respectful of everybody. And the brainwashing of the media today is so powerful. People are forgetting that peace cannot be achieved with violence and by harming others. It's, for me, this is why we should focus on kindness today, because kindness is leading to peace. So it is the way to peace. So when we promote kindness, we promote peace anyway. But we promote the way to get to the peace we really want, a peace where everybody is happy and respectful of each other. You see, that's why I want to show the teaching of Maitreya about peace. I will start it now if you want, and we can discuss about it together. Is that okay?
Yes, sure.
I'll launch it now. Welcoming
the planet the Yellow Page. How are you, everybody? Genki desu ka, minasan? Genki desu! This morning I want to talk to you about the most important quality in human being.
今朝は人類にとって一番重要な資質について話したいと思います。
Most important quality.
最も重要な資質について。
Kindness.
それは優しさです。
You are never too much kind.
優しすぎることはないんですね。
Be kind with other people.
他の人々に優しくしてください。
Not only with your friends.
友達だけではなくて、
Not only with the people you love.
愛している人たちだけではなくて、
But also with people you don't like.
好きじゃない人たちにも優しくしてください。
Kindness
優しさ。
is the most important expression of love.
愛の一番重要な表現でもあります。
You cannot give love if you're not kind.
優しくなければ愛を与えることはできないです。
Be kind to each other.
お互いに優しくいてください。
Always.
いつも。
Before talking or interacting with anybody, do a little meditation. Very short. I will be kind.
人々と話しかけ始めるときにちょっとした瞑想をして、私はこの人に優しくするんだというふうに瞑想してから話し合ってください。
Some people think in life what is most important is the truth.
ある人は人生の中で一番重要なのは真実だと思う人います。
To be right.
正しいことだと思います。
It's not true.
でもそれは本当ではないです。
If you have to choose between being right and being kind,
優しさとその真実をどっちかを選ぶとしたら、
choose to be kind.
優しさを選ぶべきです。
You will always be right.
それがいつも正しいです。
If you are right, sometimes you're not kind.
たまにはその正しいために優しくない時があります。
And if you are not kind, you're not right.
でその優しくなければ正しくないんです。
Never too much.
それは過ぎることはないです。
Maybe some people will look at you saying, it's too much kind, it's not true.
ある人はあなたを見て優しすぎるんだよ、それは本当じゃないんじゃないのっていう人いるかもしれませんが。
Maybe they will judge you. Welcome.
どうぞ。
Yes. Maybe they will judge you. Maybe they will judge you.
人々はあなたを判断するかもしれないんですけれども、
Thinking that you are weak,
弱すぎるとか
not strong enough,
強くないとか
doesn't matter.
そんなの関係ないですね。
The strongest strength in the world is kindness.
世界で一番強さというのがこの優しさです。
Be kind to each other.
お互いに優しくいてください。
Never too much.
それに過ぎることはないです。
Put your brain in autopilot.
それをその自分の、脳の中に自動運転状態にしてください。
Train yourself
そうやってトレーニングさせるんです。
to always have in the priority kindness.
優しさというふうにトレーニングするんです。
When you meet somebody,
誰かに会った時に
even somebody you know,
知らない人だってでさえも
say something kind.
何か優しい言葉を渡してください。
Compliment them.
何かを称賛してください。
Ah, you have a beautiful dress.
美しいドレスですねとか、
I love your makeup.
化粧好きですよ。
I love your shoes.
その靴好きですよ。
I love your smile.
その笑顔とても好きです。
Kindness
優しさは
is expressed with very simple things.
とても簡単なことの表現になります。
Never too much.
過ぎることはないんです。
Kindness, when you give it, you receive more.
優しさでもっと与えるほどもっともらうことになります。
And we all want other people to be kind and sweet with us.
自分に周りの人々がいつも優しくてソフトであることを願いますよね。
You don't want to be with people who are not sweet and kind to you.
周りの人々が自分に対して優しくなくてスイートじゃないことを願わないですよね。
So be the first to do it to others.
ですから他の人にそれを初めてやる人になってください。
If all humanity was kind,
人類全ての人類が優しければ
there would be no war,
そこには戦争は存在 しなくなります。
no starvation.
飢餓は存在しなくなります。
If all the billionaires of the world were kind, they would give money to the poor African children.
世界中の億万長者がみんな優しければアフリカのもう食べ物ない子供たちに愛を与えるでしょう。
Instead of buying a car made of gold,
なんかゴールドで作られたその車を買うよりも
how is it possible to have a car made of gold?
ゴールドでできた金でできた車を持つことなんてなんて考えられるんでしょうか。
Knowing that children are dying at the rate of 1 every 5 seconds in Africa.
5秒ごとにアフリカで子供たちが食べ物がなく死んでいくのを知りながらそんなことができますか。
She's not kind.
それは優しさではないです。
If I was sitting in a car made of gold, I would feel guilty of why I use this money to have a car made of gold. It's completely useless.
私がもしその金でできた車の中に座っていたらですね、すごい罪悪感を感じて、なんでこんな必要があるんだ、このためにお金を使う必要があるんだと思います。
All the problem in the world of capitalism
資本主義が世界の問題なんですけれども、
is a lack of kindness.
これは親切の欠如です。
When you are kind,
皆さんが優しければ、
you want to be kind with everybody.
すべての人々に優しくしたいんです。
Even the people you don't like.
自分が好きじゃない人にさえも優しくしたいんです。
You don't force to love everybody.
みんなをこう愛そうとなんて自分を仕向けるんではなくて、
Some people, we don't like their personality.
ある人々はその性格が嫌いだって思う人もいるかもしれません。
But we have to be kind with them.
でも彼らにでさえも私たちは優しくいなきゃいけないんですね。
The rose and the lotus are very different flowers.
バラとその、ハスはとても違うお花なんですけれども。
Can you open the door? Big, big, fresh air. We need oxygen and no air conditioning. So, the rose and the lotus
バラとそのハスは
are very different.
とても違うんです。
They have very different personality.
違う性格を持ってるんですね。
But each of them is beautiful.
でもそれぞれがとても美しいです。
And you are same.
皆さんも同じです。
You are different flowers.
違うお花なんですね。
So, some people don't look like you.
ある人は自分と違うかもしれませんし、
But you have to be kind with them.
でもそれでも優しくいなければなりません。
Your personality will be richer.
自分の性格がもっとこう豊かでだとしても
By being with people who are very different from you.
他の人たちと一緒にいるときにとても違いを感じるんですね。
If we always want to be with people we love, our personality become more poor.
いつも似たような人々とだけ一緒にいると私たちの個性というのはとても貧弱になります。
By being with people we don't like, we discover another way of being a human being.
違う人たちと一緒に自分と違う人たちと一緒にいればいるほどもっとこう違ったその個性というものを発見することができます。
And we can only do that with kindness.
それは優しさがある時のみ可能になります。
Being kind with people you love is easy.
自分に優しい人々に優しくするのは簡単です。
But be kind with people you don't love.
自分が好きじゃない人に優しくすることが重要です。
Kindness increase on earth.
そうやって優しさを世界中に広めていくんです。
Don't judge other people.
他の人を判断しないでください。
Don't try to teach other people how to behave.
こうやってやらなきゃいけないとかこう教えようとしないでください。
Because it's judgment.
それが判断したり評価したりすることになります。
The way you behave is not good. I will teach you what is good.
あなたの行動が良くなければ私が教えるよっていうふうに。
This is not love.
それは愛ではないんで
This
す。
is not kind.
それは優しさではないんです。
You are different from me?
あなたが私と違うならば、
Thank you for being different.
その違くいてくれてありがとうございます。
You do things your way.
自分が好きなようにどうぞ。
I do things my way.
私は私が好きなように
We make the humanity more rich by being different.
やってそうやって人類がそのお互いの違さが多ければ多いほどもっといい豊かに察することができるんです。
Remember,
それを覚えてください。
being right is not important.
こう正しくいるということはそんなに重要なことではないんです。
Being kind
優しくいてください。
is the most important thing.
これが最も重要なことです。
So, right after this speech, when I finish, you can start.
このスピーチが終わったらすぐ皆さん始めることができます。
Why not this morning, after the meeting, I finish speaking?
このミーティングが終わった後すぐに
Why not being more kind than you ever have been with other people here to
こ
start?
こにいる人々に今までの中で一番優しくすることを始めてはどうでしょうか。
Why not?
なぜできますよね。できますよね。
Yes. できる?
Great, wonderful video. That's one of my favorites, if not my favorites. In fact, I told you already in a previous conversation we have had. Remember, really, Stephen, I told you if if I was going to a deserted island with a group of people and I had to take just one video, I would choose this one. I think this one contains really a key to create a paradise on earth. So if we had to respect one teaching, one part of the teaching, if we respect kindness, we can be in harmony with each other, always caring about each other, and have a peaceful world. And that's a basis. That's the most fundamental value I think we need to keep in mind for peace. And this is why I just told you that in fact we should have a ministry of peace. Behind me there is a sign which says, why do we have a ministry of defense and no one has a ministry of peace? Well, we should have a ministry of kindness and happiness, because really this is where our focus is. If we focus about peace, we forget that we have been manipulated to organize wars in the name of peace, and peace has lost its mojo over the years. The peaceful movement have died off. We need actually not only to go towards peace. If we focus on kindness, we are actually showing the way to peace, and the peace we really want, a peace where everybody is taken care of, and where we actually care about the happiness of everybody. A peace deprived of life in a world deprived of life is not interesting for us. We want to transform this fractal of evil, hatred, greed into a fractal of love, generosity, and care about each other. That's kindness. If we inject kindness in this fractal, we have the paradise we have always wanted. What do you think about this idea?
Yes, there's so much on a personal level that we can do, because that's what reflects outward. So we, looking at the international situation, think we're helpless or we're unable to do anything, whereas in fact Minute for Peace will actually make a contribution, a strong one. But on a personal level, we can do simple acts each day, smiling at people, very simple gestures that can change people's lives. I was talking with a friend yesterday who had a situation in the line-up at a supermarket. It was not a nice situation at all. We talked about it. She was waiting to check out her groceries, and there was a man either in front of her or behind her with his wife and child, who got one of those separation sticks, to put between the groceries. He grabbed it to separate his groceries from her and whacked her in the elbow with it. Not deliberately, but it hurt her, and she went, "Oh, ouch," and he said nothing. And she took him up on it and said, "That really hurt me." And he still said nothing, as though nothing had occurred that was unusual or he had any responsibility for. So we talked about how on those very simple situations on a day-to-day basis, some people just have no sense of refinement or manners at all, and that's the kind of basic level where we can actually be effective by always being grateful, to thank people, to be refined in our actions, because there is a disintegration that's been taking place. I think of my mother's generation and the lovely dances that they used to go to and that we went to as children. There was a formal dancing that had a lot of refinement about it, a lot of respect for each other, a lot of beauty, and more and more we're being taken in this direction of being quite abrupt with each other and quite short. And as you were talking off camera before, Elsie, about disintegration of community, I believe this is all in line with the nuclear policy. I mean that I think the nuclear policy is very much controlled by an elite who do not have our best interests at heart and are also wanting us to disengage from each other, to be frightened, to basically consume and stay indoors if at all possible, be suspicious of each other, and lack common courtesy. And so your idea of a department of kindness and happiness is a fantastic idea. As Rael has said in that video, kindness is the greatest strength, and it's very true. And to be kind to unkind people, it's very difficult for us to do that at times. It takes a super consciousness, it takes a higher consciousness, it takes a very loving individual, a very refined and beautiful individual to be that strong, to be able to be kind to unkind people. Because our immediate reaction is usually to hit back either physically or with words or with a look when someone is unkind to us. It's a very strong discipline, and it's a great strength to have, just like meditating on the hour, each hour. These are the areas of our lives that we can constantly improve and show how we are a higher being, or we have higher ideals. We know that refinement and femininity are very much part of the Raelian philosophy, and we speak about it at the seminars, but perhaps we don't remind ourselves enough of it in our everyday lives, that these are the great qualities that we can show to others, and by showing them to others as a condition that we have within inside ourselves, to be refined and feminine to ourselves as well, to look at those inner aspects and to nurture them and encourage them.
About what you said, I want to show another teaching, about the divide and conquer strategy of the elite and the media to control people and to disempower people and to create this hell that is approaching, unfortunately. And our chance is kindness to reverse this process. Yes, as simple as kindness can stop the people from hurting others and reverse the process towards the paradise. There is an aspect of this conditioning in the society that is called the competition. We want to actually transform competition into contribution and cooperation. And there is a fantastic teaching of Maitreya about it, called titled on Royal Academy Competition. I start it now, okay?
Okay.
Welcoming
the planet, the yellow. Competition.
競争するということです。
Competition is so bad.
競争というのはとても悪いです。
From child, you are taught to be better than others.
子供の時から他の人より良くなるために思ったと思います。
More successful.
もっと成功しようとか。
More beautiful.
もっと美しくなろうとか。
This is terrible.
これは最悪です。
Like Kolo said, we are all different flowers.
彼が言ったように私たちはみんな違うお花です。
Whenever we must never feel in competition with others.
他の人たちとなんか競争心を持ってはいけないんですね。
We are different.
私たちは違いますから、
There is no winner
なんか誰も勝者がいるわけではないんです。
in consciousness.
この意識の中では
We are different.
ただ違うだけです。
And we can help each other
でお互いを助けることができます。
instead of trying to beat other people,
なんか勝とうとするんではなくて、
to be the best.
自分がベストになろうとするんではなく
What is
て、
best?
ベストとは何でしょうか。
Best of what?
何のためのベストでしょうか。
Be the
1位で
best
しょうか。
is bullshit.
それはクソです。
Be the best you can.
自分の中でベストになるということはできますけれども、
Be better than yourself,
自分自身より良くなるということはできますけ
but
れども、
not better than others.
でも他の人よりもっと良くなろうと思う
If you want to be the best of better than others, you will always feel bad
他の人よりもっと良くなろうとするといつも気分が悪くなると思います。
and selfish
とても利己主義になります。
and develop the most terrible thing of your personality, which is ego.
自分の中でエゴをもっとこう大きくしてしまうんですね。
And it's the poison of consciousness.
これは意識のための毒になります。
To become the Buddha you can be,
もっとブダになれますけれども、
all of you can.
みんながブダになれます。
No ego.
エゴがなくて、
If no ego,
エゴがなければ
no competition.
競争というのもないんです。
Competition is me against the others.
競争というのは私が言ってそれ他の人とこう対立するということになり
Your
ます。
parents told you, be the best at school.
もう学校で一番になれと親から言われたと思います。
Did they?
そうですよね。
So bad.
それとっても悪いんです。
So bad.
とっても悪いです。
They should send you to school saying, be happy.
学校に送ってもっと幸せになってっていうふうに学校に送るべきです。
Be yourself.
自分自身であるように。
If some other children have difficulty to be good, help them.
もっと良くなることが難しい友達をこう助けてあげたりとか。
But not be the best.
でももう一番になろうとしないんです。
The world is sick of competition.
この世界というのはその競争によってもう病んでるんですね。
Competition between people,
人々同士で競争し合ったりして、
competition between countries,
国同士が競争し合ったりして、
create war.
戦争を作り出して、
Everybody wants to be more powerful,
もうみんながもっとパワフルになりたく、
more intelligent,
もっと知性的になろうと思って、
more beautiful,
もっと美しくなろうと思って、
more rich.
もっとお金持ちになろうと思って、
Me, me, me.
私ばっかり思うんですね。
It is competition.
この競争から来るもの
It's
です。
destroying the planet.
この惑星をもう破壊するんですね。
It's destroying you.
皆さん自身も破壊するんです。
Because when you put yourself in competition with others,
他の人とのその競争に自分を置きますと、
you're always frustrated.
もういつもこう欲求不満になるんですね。
But when you put yourself in a position to help others
でも自分が他の人を助けるそういう状況に自分を置きますと、
by giving,
その与えることによって
but not thinking about me, me, me,
私だけを考えるんではなくて、
then you're happy forever.
そうすると永遠に幸せでいられるんです。
Giving,
与えるんです。
giving smile,
笑顔を与えて、
giving a hand to help others,
他の人を助けるために手を差し出して、
giving a kind voice,
親切なこう声を与えて、
a beautiful smile.
美しい笑顔を与えて、
It's free,
これはただですから、
but you help others.
でもそれで他の人を助けることができます。
When recently there was workers coming in the house where I am to fix air conditioning.
最近私のエアコンを直すための人が来たんですけれども、
Sweating.
もうすごい汗だくなってて、
Me, Maitreya, I bring a glass of water to him.
で私がその彼に一杯のお水を持ってってあげたんですね。
It's free.
ただですから、
And it's love.
愛ですから。
Maitreya, and he's a simple worker. He's a human being.
私がマイトラだからといってでも彼は
Sweating.
人間ですから、とても汗だくになっていれば、
And I give water.
お水を与えるんです。
can give water to everybody.
皆さんも誰にだってお水を与えることができます。
No competition.
競争ではなくて、
Try to find in your life
人生の中で見つけ出してください。
where you still have competition
自分の中のどこにその競争心があるかというところ、
and destroy it.
それを壊してください。
Replace it by love,
それを愛と取っ替えてください。
by cooperation,
協力と変えてください。
by helping people who are weaker than you.
自分より弱い人を助けることに変えてください。
And all the planet become better.
そうするとこの惑星すべてのところが良くなります。
For girls is always this terrible competition to try to be more beautiful than other girls.
女の子たちはいつもその他の子よりも美しくなろうと競争心でいっぱいですね。
Be the most loving.
いつもその愛を与える人になって
That
く
you
だ
will
さい。
be every year more,
それを毎年もっとそうしていくんです。
but more beautiful.
でももっと美しくなるには
Every year you will age and become more ugly.
もっと美しくなろうとすると毎年年を取ってもっとこう醜くなっていくんです。
So trying to be the most beautiful will make you every year more sad.
だからもっと美しくなろうとすることが毎年もっと悲しくさせるんです。
But being the one giving more love to others,
でもそのもっと愛を誰よりも与える人になるということで、
you can become very old
もちろん年取ることはできて年取っていきますけれども、
and always more beautiful.
でもいつも美しくいられるんです。
Not because of your skin
その肌のおかげでではなくて、
or your breast
そのおっぱいがその綺麗だからということではなく
or
て、
your legs,
足が綺麗だからということでは
but
なくて、
because of your love.
その愛のおかげで。
And this is, I hope you will, for men is trying to be more powerful,
男の人はもっとこうパワフルになろうとするんですけども、
more rich,
もっとお金持ちになろうとするんですけども、
to have a bigger house.
もっと大きい家を持とうとするんですけども、
Not because you need it,
それが必要だからというわけではないんで
but
す。
because you want to be better than the neighbor.
でもその周りのその人たちよりももっと良くなろうとするからなんです。
A bigger car,
もっと大きい車を持とうと。
not because you need it,
それが必要だからのわけではないん
but
です。
to have the neighbor look and say, ah, I'm better.
周りの人より自分が良くなろうとするんです。
So stupid.
とても馬鹿げてます。
The bigger zipper. So, so stupid.
とても馬鹿げてます。
My car is 200 horsepower.
私の車が 200cc だったら、馬力だったら
Can go to 250 km per hour.
200キロで走れると。
So what?
だからなんでしょう。
Where in Okinawa can you go at 250 km
今どこ
per
で
hour?
その速度で走れる場所なんで
Impossible.
不可能です。
So why?
なのになぜ
Just to look more important.
でももっと重要な人に見せたいという思うからです。
Competition.
競争心から来るんです。
Competition is making you frustrated and sad forever.
もう競争心が皆さんを欲求不満と悲しみを永遠に与えてくれるんです。
But love
でも愛というのは
will make you happier every day.
毎日もっと幸せにしてくれます。
So you choose.
どっちを選びますか？
You make your own paradise
自分の楽園を作るか、
or your own hell.
または自分の地獄を作るか、
Which one you choose?
どっちを選びますか？
Love.
愛を選びますと。
Always choose
い
love.
つも愛を選んでください。
And remove completely from your life any competition.
どんな競争心もすべて除いてください。
I hope you will do that.
皆さんにそれぜひやってほしいと思います。
Okay, great. So wonderful video again from Maitreya. By the way, you can watch all these videos of Maitreya on Rail Academy. I will put the address on the screen because it's quite an important address to remember. railacademy.org. You will find there a lot of wonderful teachings of Maitreya, which will inspire you in your life to be the best you can be, with the wonderful values of the messages. The messages can be downloaded for free on the website rael.org. I will put the address on the site now. Actually, I can show you the address. I'm not sure if you see it very well on the screen. I will show it at the end of the video anyway. Rael.org, rael.org. So I wanted to say a few more words about this competition aspect and kindness, because truly I think it can help us to save humanity, you know. And I was thinking, kindness is not something you have to think about now and then. It has to be every second, you know. It's not when you are on stage in the spotlight or watched by a lot of people that you have to be kind. It's when in every moment when you expect the less, you have to be very alert, because the need to be kind comes at an unexpected moment, you know. Sometimes when you're very tired or very stressed, well, this is the time when you have to be even more careful about your kindness for the others. That can transform truly a world of hell into a paradise, when we realize that others are also important, just like us. We have to care of everybody if we want to build an harmonious world. And this attention we have towards others can really be so enjoyable, so pleasurable, when we go this extra step towards helping others in a daily life. You know, it can transform your relationship. It can transform your relationship, you know, at home and at work. It can affect every aspect of your life, and it can affect the future of humanity. Let's start a revolution of kindness today.
Yes.
So that's one idea. And the competition, I love it, because yes, if we are trained to be the best, you know, and if we forget about kindness, you know, this is to win at all cost is not fun. It's not helping, and in fact, to survive at all cost is not fun either. It's not harmonious either. No way. No, we need to change this concept. The corporations and the governments behave in such an inhuman manner today, destroying the world in front of us, in front of our eyes, and we are all powerless, or most of us are powerless. We need to reverse the trend with an injection of kindness to make a difference, so that no one will accept to obey the orders of corporations or mindless governments if they are not kind with people. That will change everything. What do you think?
Well, yes. This is it. We have very bad leadership. We have very bad examples of being held up as the way to do things, or what's acceptable. I was talking earlier about, you know, Hollywood. I think I was on speaker then, talking about the films and the media examples. Very bad. And as that video was talking about, promoting competition on all levels as being something that's really good and very valuable, and something that we should all strive for. And at the heart of that is the idea of dominating others, or being actually violent even to others, and that's acceptable. People look at wealth and think that it's wonderful and where they'd like to be, and most people would agree that generally speaking, wealth has been achieved through, if not outright violence, through certainly dominating other people, ripping off other people. Most wealth hasn't been achieved in an honourable way. I'm not going to damn it outright, but we aspire to some fairly suspect aspects of life as being that which we most admire, the kind of examples on television these days, the Kardashians, the general sort of examples of what's acceptable are so shallow, so lacking in, once again, refinement and often higher intelligence. There's a dumbing down that's going on that's very, very sad. We've got so many television channels, but hardly any of them are worth watching, and none of them are worth watching all the time, which can be a good thing because you don't watch television all the time. But what I'm wanting to say is that you cannot depend on any television channel, if you switched it on, to have something of a higher consciousness or something intelligent or something really engaging. And also, more and more, we're realizing that television, multimedia, the mainstream media, are just propaganda machines turning out a particular point of view that people accept and take for granted as being the view, the truth. So I have digressed there a bit, Elsie, but at the same time, these are all interlinked.
Yes.
We're in a paradigm, we're in this culture that is closing in around us. We've offloaded so many good things. We've destroyed on different levels a sense of community, and people crave it because there's online communities now, which are in many ways a good thing, not always, but there's connection between people. We are in this great time of change, so we have to look at and be very discerning about what we get involved in, and also what our own attitudes are, because we are very much responsible for how our world is created and how we would like the world to be. So
Agree.
if we're giving out unrefined, unkind attitudes, well, we can't expect the world to be kind back to us. We must be grateful as well for what we have, no matter how little or lacking it may be in terms of what we really think we deserve or would like to have.
It's interesting, this aspect that every one of us is important, and every one of us has to play his or her part to the changes that are necessary. We are not powerless. We can actually have a huge effect on our environment just by being kind, and as you say, in our daily lives, the ripples of our actions can go far away. So
you've touched on something there, which is probably another conversation for another time.
Okay.
And that is how powerful we are. We're told we're not, and the way that things are organized now is to make us feel less and less powerful, to disempower us, in fact, to make us feel that we're just insignificant, that we can't do anything, to make us frightened, etc. Whereas we as Raelians know that we've been created in the image of our Creator. Our creators, the image and likeness of our creators. So we have enormous potential, each one of us. We're very powerful beings, but we're manipulated and controlled and told and suppressed and have all sorts of things in place to make us feel small and insignificant, as though we don't matter. And that is where kindness and courtesy and politeness can come in. That's why that gesture they had, in the East of recognizing the divinity in the person that you're paying respect to as a greeting is very powerful, because that's it. We must recognize the divinity. When I talk about that, I mean the powerful being inside anybody else that we encounter. Everybody has that beautiful, respectful, enormous, powerful being that we are within us somewhere. So much is cluttering it and preventing it from fully expressing itself. Well, I'm talking about ourselves. I'm talking about we are the being. But we have so many facets that we let get in the way. We shut down our mind in so many different ways. That would be another aspect of meditation that we haven't talked about particularly, how it empowers us, because it allows us to understand our true selves. Meditation, everything falls away, and we're left with our true selves if we do it properly.
Yes, excellent. I agree. And I have a question actually in the room. The question, because we have reached the Q&A section at the end of the show, and there will be this interaction with our audience, our live audience at each show. And we have today this question. It will be the only question we'll take today because we are late in the show. I think the collapse of the federal banking or US dollar is an important step towards world peace. Therefore, we need more info as to when this will happen, as Rael mentioned it lately. But the general collapse of the banking system.
That's a good question. In fact, Rael doesn't speak about this as much as we might like to hear, because it is a major event, I understand, that is taking place in the background. Trump said a couple of days ago, this is the calm before the storm. What was he referring to? No one knows yet, but tomorrow, I think, is Columbus Day. So it's an actual long weekend in the United States. And from some of the people that I speak with who aren't necessarily Raelians, talk about arrests taking place, particularly of military people in the US. And there's been talks of Rothschild arrests. And what that term Rothschild means those working to support the Rothschild system knowingly. There's supposed to have been thousands of arrests recently. And it's hard to confirm whether these have taken place or not. But definitely part of the change is the change of the economic system, because the current one is a form of slavery. It enslaves everybody except the very wealthy, and it's all in favor of the elite. So that is a shift that is taking place and very much necessary for a new world. However, as one can imagine, with such an entrenched old system, it has to be done in a very clever way. It has to be done in a very smart, intelligent way, with stage upon stage put into place so that the old system doesn't hijack it or actually prevent it from happening. You no doubt have more information on this as well, Elsie.
I'm not sure if I have more, but I am hoping that we'll move from the United Nations concept to the United People reality, because United Nations have not worked, and I understand why. We are not. It's not natural. Nations compete with each other. It's a recipe for wars, actually, to set up a system with nations. There is no reason to create divisions with nations. We are one family. Humanity is just made of one big family, and we need to unify all people on Earth today, and to not only create peace, a unified world with peace, to create a change, because the United Nations have been powerless at eliminating wars. This was the mission of the United Nations when it was created, and still today we have wars all over the place, and they are not effective enough. They are not even effective enough to enforce the treaty which has just passed last month. So we need to move on to the next level, and there is, for me, the need of spreading the word about united people, and the need to unify everybody in a different way. But also there is a message from Maitreya recently about the this is another meditation for peace. Let's stop for 1 minute. Thank you. Yes, I was saying that first we need to move on from the United Nations to the United People today. I believe that's one encouraging thought I support, and to stop this competition at the level of the nations that is insane today, and we also need to remember the last message given by the Elohim to Maitreya concerning the need for small countries to, if the big powers refuse to give up their nuclear weapons and to ban nuclear weapons, if they refuse to follow the wish of the large majorities of nations today to ban nuclear weapons, the way to make a difference is for the small countries to be equipped with nuclear weapons. So that's that plan B, in order for the big countries to realize that it is not if only the fear of having the nuclear weapons spread all over the world can make a difference, well, so be it. That's what the last message from the Elohim is about, to tell the countries of which are trying to keep their right to produce and use nuclear weapons, well, to stop them and say, look, if you continue this way, it will. Then, in that case, all countries should have nuclear weapons in order to stop the bullying that is happening from those countries, the bullying that we have seen in Syria, in Libya, in Iraq, this unacceptable bullying and destruction that is so insane, and no one supports it. No one supports wars. So if or apart from the people who profit from it, a minority of people, those people are, shame on them, because it's really monstrous to profit from the harming others, especially at this level, which is catastrophic, and especially today, endangering the future of all generations, the future of humanity today, just for profit, is totally mad. So, what can you tell me about this message of Maitreya to encourage countries to be equipped with nuclear weapons today?
Well, the elite who run the world are psychopaths. So nothing they do makes sense except to them, because they're on a psychopathic mission of destruction. We're told that the nuclear weapons that they have in the nuclear countries are for their defense, whereas basically there are most countries in the world don't have nuclear weapons. So they're being oppressed or threatened by the fact that the nuclear powers have nuclear weapons. The elite make money out of war. That's why there's always wars going on, because they make a lot of money out of it. So if countries all had nuclear weapons, does it increase the threat of nuclear war or not? It certainly would decrease the ability for countries to be oppressed, and it would certainly stop wars in the short term. And we would have to have faith in the idea that these weapons are going to be protected safely, so that some crazy person who came to a small country didn't actually activate one. That's a mystery we would have to see unfold. I understand why the Elohim is saying all countries should have it. It's a form of equality, and it's a form of real defense in that way, because these countries like the US do not require the number of nuclear weapons that they have as any kind of defense. It's simply profiteering, making new ones, bigger, better, more horrible ones that would obviously destroy the planet if they were in any way used. So it's really about keeping an arms industry going, and that's what the wars do. They keep profits rising for the wealthy, for the elite. So it's a big subject to have at the end of our discussion here, Ossie.
Yes.
There's a big context for it, and it's a very interesting development in terms of Elohim wisdom, Elohim instruction. So many, I can understand how some people would be upset by it, but it's really like if you were to have it as same-sex marriage, for example, to translate it into that, so everyone should have be able to get married, and everyone should be able to have nuclear weapons. Is kind of the funniest thing I can think of at the moment, by way of putting an end to my current thoughts about it.
Okay. Well, we know this message comes from the Elohim, so they know better what we really need. They have the technology. They have 25,000 years of scientific advance on us. So if they think that we need these recommendations and this strategy, I think it's good to listen, personally, without forgetting our principles of non-violence and one of our main values, Raelians, is not to harm anyone for any cause, and we won't forget that one. This advice that is given is at the level of a country. That's a level where consciousness is not in action. But
one further thought I had was that it's a well-known fact that UFOs are seen around nuclear installations, and the Elohim have prevented certain nuclear accidents.
That's right.
So perhaps one way of looking at this is if every country had nuclear weapons, that the Elohim might very well intervene in terms of any accidents or the weapons being used in any stupid way. If any way nuclear weapons are used is stupid, but to actually activate them is completely irresponsible. So perhaps they may very well monitor the nuclear situation more closely, if that's what they're recommending.
Yes, possibly. I have actually right now one last comment in the room that brings me to an important subject we have not spoken about, but it's good we speak about it at the end of the show. It is the aspect of the propaganda and the need to be very careful about it. The comment is, sadly, many people talk to actually want America to destroy North Korea. Sadly, this seems a normal kind of thinking. And that brings me to the power of propaganda to create genocides, to push people to harm others, to create wars. And there was a very interesting documentary that I have seen recently titled At the Heart of the Brain. Very interesting documentary showing how the brain actually can be hypnotized and manipulated by the media so easily and make people forget the most important values. How come someone suddenly can turn towards his or her neighbor and be willing to harm or kill a neighbor who has not done anything bad to them for the last 20 years just because of lies spread by the media? It is insane. We have been manipulated by lies, but it is very important for everyone to realize that this manipulation has to stop for the survival of mankind. We have to care about each other. If we are told information which is pushing us to harm anyone, it is something we should not consider of any value whatsoever, because it cannot be true. It can only be based on lies and this propaganda machine raising us against each other.
Absolutely. I think we did touch on that in different ways earlier in regards to propaganda and the way that we're manipulated. Sometimes it's hard to know what was said on screen and what was said off screen. But the powers that be in the world today learnt a lot from Nazi Germany, and in fact imported a lot of Nazis after the war to the United States. And let's not forget that the Zionists, who you would think are opposed to the Nazis, are hand in glove with them. And that's the way the world is run today. It's a psychological warfare that's going on, a manipulation, and a lot of came out of Nazi ideology. I'm not blaming them entirely. That's a very complicated story as to how the Nazis came to power and why they disliked the Jews. That's a very complex story that we get one version of. We don't get the whole story. And so that's what we're caught up in now, is this really sinister and criminal cabal that runs the world, manipulates us emotionally and physically, because most people are into most people are able to be manipulated, and we've all been duped on various occasions. I'm sure we can all think of examples when we believed something and found out the opposite was true. So that's why question everything has to be our maxim, to not take anything for granted. Because, and this is a great area for me, because I talk about it all the time. I'm putting out a little card at the moment, how the big secrets are kept out in the open. They're kept secret because of, on account of people's incredulity. We are so easily manipulated. Another term that gets around these days is cognitive dissonance, which is the way that people don't want to believe certain things that are painful to them. They'll dismiss it, because there's too much at stake to believe that they've been duped. So people continue to believe things. It's very convenient, very easy. We're very easily manipulated. But yet again, another big subject at the end of the day. Another show would be needed to cover that material.
Yes, we arrive at the end of the show, so we have to wrap up. But thank you so much, Lucifer, for your great participation and great input. I really feel that we have spoken about very important issues during this show, which can make a difference. I think, as you say, we are all in it, we are all involved, we can all do the best we can, all we can, to create peace on the planet, and in everyday action. It starts just now.
Yeah.
This second it starts. Whatever we are doing, we can be kind and think about the best we can do and say and think in order to be the kindest as we can. Kindest.
Yes, it's the greatest strength.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So lots of love to you.
Lots of love to you and to everyone listening. Great to be here.
Great. Thank you so much. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Bye. What I will do is first I will switch off by Lucifer. I will go to show you a few addresses that are important to remember. Maybe now we will see them better. I spoke earlier about the website rail.org. I show it to you on the screen now. Here we go. So this is okay, this is rail.org, the address of the website where you can download the book Intelligent Design. This book, I will show it on the screen now. This is a book that will tell you the truth about the origins of life on Earth. The most important book of the website rail.org that everyone should know about. Intelligent design. This book contains the most important part of the message. There are more books to read and more teachings to follow. In fact, if you go to railacademy.org, I showed this website earlier as well. I remind it to you now. railacademy.org. That's where you can see a lot of videos of Maitreya, a lot of teachings that he has received in the last few years that are very important for us right now. And I will now wrap up the show by sending you all my love. Thank you for those who have been part of it. Thank you for those who have been live. I can see that the technical aspects have been working. Thank you for everyone's participation. And we'll do it again. It's for the first one, so there will be some technical issues we will improve as we go. The most important is to remember is that we are alive today and all connected, that every second counts, every minute counts, every day counts, and we really need to connect. We really need to be together, active. Time to be active and make this paradise. If one of us thinks it's possible to build a paradise on Earth, it's possible. If you think that, if I think that, we can do it. So let's do it. Let's build a paradise on Earth. This was the first Australian Raelian Show live, and I think it will be a bi-monthly event. There will be the possibility to ask questions at the live event in the virtual room. So if you come to another one, if you see this show after, of course you cannot ask questions then, but you can prepare your questions for the next show, because there will be another one. Just to find out when will the next one take place at the website rail.org/events, or you click on the menu events on the rail.org website, and you will be informed about them. That's it. So I'll wrap up there with my love, happiness, kindness, love, kindness, happiness, consciousness, supra-consciousness. Ciao.